I'm going to show you some of the tools you can use to edit and arrange shapes using Google Slides. Okay, before we can start editing shapes, we need to add a shape. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can click on Insert, and under Shapes, you have choices of lots of different shapes that you can choose from, including arrows, callouts, and even some math equations. You can also look at the toolbar, and you can see a little shape icon here, and you get the same choices here. So I'm going to choose an easy shape to work with, a little Pac-Man, and then I choose my shape and draw it in. Alright, now once I have my shape drawn in, I can rotate or resize the image. So if I grab the corner of the image, a little blue dot, and reshape it, I can reshape it, and I notice I move it. It's not doing it proportionally, right? So I can change the shape however I feel like. If I want it to be proportional, I hold the Shift key down, and that will keep, and even if I move to the side, it will still keep it proportional. I can also hold the Control key down, and it's going to also make it proportional, but it'll stay in the same position. So it'll say center, it'll just be smaller or bigger. I can rotate my image by grabbing the little handle above, rotating around. I can see the exact degrees that I can rotate. It's a little difficult to get it exactly to be, like, say, for example, 90 degrees. So if you want to have it to be an exact angle, like 90 degrees, or flip it horizontally or vertically, you can right-click on the image, hit rotate, and then you get a choice of rotate clockwise or counterclockwise by 90 degrees, or flip it horizontally or vertically. You can get those same choices by going under Arrange and rotating here. One thing you may notice on this is I don't have a way to crop this. I don't have cut out parts of the shape. And the reason for that is that you can't crop a shape, but you can crop an image. So if I had a picture of, say, a dog, I could crop that one, but I can't do that with the shape. Okay, another thing I can do is I can add, change the color on the inside. I have my choices of colors here. I can do. And I can also change the same color. Let's change a different color. And I change the inside. I can also change the border color up here. And it's a little difficult to see the change. If I make the border thicker, I can see the change a little better. So I got the nice blue on yellow. And I can change besides the thickness, I can change the type of border. You can get some nice, interesting effects doing this. You have more choices if you go up. If you're selecting, go to Format, go to Borders and Lines. You have the same, the dash and stuff, but you also can do border type. So I can do something like a triple border. Okay, and if I make it thicker, I can see even better how that triple border looks. And I have some other choices, so you can make some really interesting shapes just using those type of things. Now, the other thing about it is with these colors, when I choose this, I'll notice I have these colors up here, but here I can actually create a custom palette of colors to choose from, which can be really helpful when doing a slide presentation. I can choose which colors I want to use, and then I can have those matching colors. And one way to do that is to use something like this. This is one of the sites that you can choose. And you can find a selection of colors that go together. So say, for example, like I like this particular one here. And when I hover over it, I'll notice that I get the hexadecimal code for that particular color. So if I, for example, here I copied that. If I go back over here to my shape, and under custom, if I hit plus, I can choose the color, but I could also put in the hexadecimal and it will match what I have. So I could go over to here and I could choose all these colors and put them in my custom, here for my custom slide, and custom colors, and then I know I have matching colors to work with. Another thing I can do is, that's creating a color scheme. I also have under Format, I have Format Options. And then here I have a lot of choices and pretty specific things I can do. Once again, I can rotate, but I can tell it exactly what angle I want. Flip it or horizontally or 90 degrees, but I can move the angle exactly I want to do. I can also change the width of it. So if I want to change, like, say, just the width of here, I can make it so it's more flat this way. I could go change it back. I can change the height. I can make it a specific size. If I click Lock Aspect Ratio, that means the height and width will stay proportional. And so it'll stay proportional to what it was. I can also put it in an exact position if I have a specific position I want it to be. I can change the text within if I'm working with a shape. And I can add things such as a drop shadow, change the transparency. Let's see my drop shadow come in here. I could add also a reflection. Right. So there's some ways you can do some specific things under the Format options. Okay, those are the basic editing as far as the shape itself and changing it. You can also, when you have a more than one shape, you can do things such as change the layers or the order they're in, and you can also group and ungroup them to work with them together. So let's add a couple more shapes. So let's add this one. And we'll give it another color to work with here so we can distinguish them, and then we'll add one more shape in. And we'll change the color of that one so they're all three different colors. Okay, now when I bring in shapes into a Google Slide, it puts them in layers. And the layers that they're put in depends on when they were put in. Since this shape was put in first, it's going to be on the bottom layer. So if I put this one here, this one will be on top of this layer. This is first layer, second layer. And this is the third shape I put in, so it'll be on top of this one. And that'll be true no matter where we put them over. It's just like putting sheets of paper on top of each other. I can easily change those. So let's say, for example, I want this to be behind the other two layers. What I can do, if I right click on it, I can go order. If I send backwards, I'm just sending back one layer. So now it's the second layer. This is the third layer, it's on top, second layer, first layer. I can also bring it forward, so it puts it back on top. If I want to send it all the way back, instead of choosing send backward, I say send to the back, and it'll put it at the very back layer. That's an easy way to rearrange the order that you're working with. If I want to, let's say I have these two, and I get them in a specific place that I want to have them. I'd say I really like this shape, and I want to treat that as one. What I can do is I can group those. So I can go here, click this one, hold Control key, click this one. Now if I go up under Arrange, and there's my order, it can also choose up here. I can go and say Group. These are treated as one object now. Right? So wherever I move one, I'm moving the whole thing. And so that's really nice, especially when you're working with some shapes, working the design. If you get to some things in places you want them, then you can simply group those and those will stay in the same place.